All right, I'm turning
Thinking
things
about.
on. We'll see if it picks everything up properly. And we should be live.
There we are.
There's our welcome to House of Eidolons, which I didn't start with, but we'll figure that out. And into the post-mortem. So, we did a thing. We did some combats, folks.
Is our videos? I don't. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure the website popped up first.
Yeah. What an intense game.
Wow.
This is after hours conversation. It's just fireside chat, people talking, us having fun. Yeah. Wow. That was intense.
Crap. Yeah, it was. Holy. That was wild. That was scary.
I drooled in a pool of my own blood for half the thing, so it was great. But I made my choice. I did it on purpose.
Where is this being posted at? The stream?
Same live. Yep.
Okay.
It'll just boot right back up. So I just wanted to separate the streams for recording purposes. So
that was a wild night. It was pure bedlam.
This was it was
utter pandemonium.
Just yep.
I really thought we had him. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, the first half I was like, oh.
I thought so too. I'm like, is this just gonna be a super easy match?
No, I was so
for these
excited.
guys?
I was like, oh, we've knocked this one out. The other one's dead, so we'll be fine. We just gotta smiles, and then we are home free. And I remember thinking, I was like, do I blast the girl who's been hacking people because I think she's a problem, or do I try avoiding the armor and just destroying Valiant's mind? And the problem for me is hindsight's 20/20. I should just be like, it's your worst fears. You're dead now. Because holy crap, did he give us worlds of problems.
That I saw that shield get deployed, I was like, fuck.
Okay, that arm, guys. Okay, so first of all, each of these Eidolons was given a budget equivalent to your budget where you guys are at. They are literally on par.
Yep.
They might even have a little less money than you guys have had. His arm was 27 AP on top of HP.
Yeah.
He had double Duraplate shielding. And he had a retinue. He had Can of Patch-All, which he kept on curing his poison with.
It's got 5 charges, by the way, folks. I wanted to say it, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Same with the boost.
Because it's in his Swiss fingers, he can use it as a sub-action instead of an action to apply, so he just kept on cleansing himself. Like, again, I built him as just like what would be a ridiculous tank that if you get hit by the guy is gonna hurt. And I was like, I just introduced these amplifiers onto heavy weapons, and with his mounted shield, I'm gonna use that impaler spear that can just shoot through walls, because that is mean.
I was honestly waiting for you to impale Lucy and then like grapple her, because I think you and I had a chat about like a spear that could do that, and I was like, oh no. When that first hit me, you're like, yeah, but pierce her tail. I'm like, and he's gonna start doing this. And I was so worried.
So here's the fun thing. Waylon, my other character that I theory crafted out, the drone runner. My stream for Brandon just got fucked up. I'll change it.
It's because Capil joined. Hey, Capil.
Oh, what's up, dude? So the drone I have for this guy runs a giant spear with those like flesh hooks. So this drone, this crazy cloaked, nasty organ harvesting drone, can slam this spear through a wall, and then just hook up to whatever's there and pull it right through. Like it's terrifying.
Wild.
We should have just taken Smiley and left. We genuinely should have just taken Smiley and left.
Yeah, that was I think what changed the dynamic was not just allowing Valiant to go and just like grappling and getting Smiles hooked down. Now, mind you, I did not expect Valiant to be as, I mean, he was dumping all of his different things, but like, it is crazy with consumables and rightfully so, right? You're paying money for something that you lose. But man, can they just turn the tide when you need them to.
It'll be interesting to see what his overdose is at the... If we do get a glimpse into what his, like...
Oh, he was very dumb and very susceptible to electricity. You hit him with electricity, he probably would have gone down immediately. Because of his dock shock that he had applied. And Playmaker makes it so that his intelligence, which is his lowest stat, is even lower. So, like, anything intelligence rated, he was just pure adrenaline mode.
Yeah.
But Connor, that first pincer missing you.
So my God. Oh, man.
This guy, his pincer, right, has the napalm secretion glands that he's running.
Yep.
He also, mind you, has blood metabolism, which means he can actually eat corpses using a sub-action and heal himself. And if he grapples you, he can make a free bite attack.
That's what I was worried about.
And so it would be a grapple for 4 to 5 damage plus burning, followed instantaneously by an equivalent level bite plus burning. I was like, if Connor gets snagged by this, he is in big trouble.
No, so I was anticipating him having, like, I thought there was a charge attack coming, and I was like, oh God, he's got, and I was that if I hadn't rolled so well on that, I was like, this is, because my fear was I was going to screw up my entire plan, because I'm like, I'm holding this capstone so that I can, because my thought was he's just going to bite my head off, and I will immediately die. That is not, I can't have that. I got so lucky with that defense roll, and I got so lucky that he rolled so low on his willpower save.
Yeah, his willpower was a 7 on 4 dice.
Yeah, that
was
wild.
Very bad.
And I was actually really worried about him because I was like, Valiant's going to be the easier target in that I thought.
Right, like, he can get hacked and all that sort of stuff.
I was like, he's going to be the guy to definitely freak out. I might not even try to crit on him. I'm just trying to get him to, like, run away or attack the girl with the gun or something, right? I'm just trying to freak this guy out. But when he was, like, right up in front of me, I'm like, the only option here is to try to freak him and get the hell out. That was just positively wild. I was terrified of Smiles. Like, I have been genuinely thinking of this guy for
Actually, I'm kind of excited because I feel like, Brandon, you've had a little bit of combat experience, a little bit, in Substation 9, but, like, not like this, right? Not like a whole session of just, like, committed combat.
Complete combat.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Sorry, I was drinking. So, yes, what's your question?
He had cybernetic eyes, my man. You knew that because you scanned and sweeped and saw that he had cybernetic eyes, and you didn't blind him.
What? I got spear, shield, and a gun. That's all you told me.
No. I read over all of Valiant's gear to you. I told you that he had a cyber oculus, he had his spear, he had his... I was going through all of them for you. On Valiant's chart, I remember reading through them to you.
Was this at the very beginning of the session?
When you first ran Sweep Sleuth?
I didn't hear the eyes.
I told you that he had a cybernetic arm with the Durasteel folding, the Swiss fingers with injectors installed, and the cyber oculus with active lens sheath.
I did not hear the cyber oculus part.
Yes, the cyber oculus was the third one I listed, but you could have turned those off.
Yeah, did not hear that part at all.
Yeah.
Would have been the first thing.
The cyber oculuses are really fun to mess with. He had a really high CSV, but you had a really good roll for finding the concealed on him.
Yeah.
Poor Flashbang. I realized too late after she sent Valiant to go take care of the net diver that that basically turned the ire of like everybody onto her because she was the closest target.
Yeah.
It was a shame. She really did get the shaft, and I was excited because like I've only ever seen. What was she? Was she a net dive? Like what? Because like I was really surprised. I was impressed by like the net divers that I've seen. Usually are like, oh, I'm in submersion space, I'm doing stuff, but she was just like.
She is an overlay net diver with so acting
so
in combat,
cool.
doing that stuff. Yeah.
That was so cool, and I honestly felt so bad how quickly she died. Cause I was like, I have not seen the little Z, and that was so cool. I thought, what a neat character. You can't see, like, Kairos couldn't see her. You could just see the gun, and I was like, oh, she's cool.
She had a CSV 25 Mr. Nobody installed.
Ooh.
So Kairos, because her whole point is that her team doesn't have a like dedicated submersion net diver. Instead, she runs programs to track them down, locate where they are in submersion space, and then sends either Smiles or Valiant to go take care of them. And the goal was that she would be protected, but with Smiles being taken out, there wasn't enough pressure on the field.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was just her and Valiant that were the target, really. I mean, again, it was... That move against Smiles was so critical in the overall outcome. And by the way, Usi, loved that you were using your pheromone-based poison. Was so good.
Yeah.
You used that so well.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to... I feel like I have found Usi's weakness in the fact that anything organic I have on lock. I don't have really anything that goes against any type of armor except grappling with the tail or trying to like claw and shred.
Your claws destroyed his shield. I mean, that was 6 damage per hit.
The problem is he had 27 AP, 26 AP.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the
I couldn't do anything.
That, you know?
So I'm just like,
you destroyed his shield twice.
Yeah.
But he was also on Doc Shock, and so like he had the things to help restore that shield because that is his. Without that, he's an easy target.
And that's what I was like. I feel like I caught on to that so early that if you remove the shield, he's just a meat sack. But the problem is he had so much to protect that shield.
He wasn't running
no way.
Outside of his upper torso, or no, outside of that arm, all of his other armor was just 4.
Yeah.
It was that low. It's just that he's an EOD paladin and they have such good chances to block with that shield.
Yeah.
And they can use strength as their main attribute when rolling cover saves, which is huge. I cannot tell you, like, that ability alone allows you to just build a beefcake strength only tank. Yeah. And
I have an idea of when I get a little bit more money because I'm close. I'm either going to do something where I upgrade my spit to add the barb so that I can pierce. Because I kept thinking him running away, he was so close that had I done some type of barb, I could have pierced at least maybe the back of his back or something. And so him running away would have given me a direct line of like his back, his head, back, legs, whatever.
Yes.
And it could have damaged enough to where it might have opened us up to not having to deal with his shield. But I was just like, oh.
And it was and that poison too with the pierce, honestly, I think he would have been fast work had you had a way to pierce with your spit. Yeah. Because your poison also reduces reaction speed, and if reaction speed hits 0, they become stunned.
Yeah.
And he had only 3. Had he taken 1 more hit to HP from your poisons, he would have been stunned.
So I think ultimately that's I've already got that idea on the back burner because we're going to face armor again. Everyone for the most part has some type of armor. So it's like seeing this, had I gotten him from the back and just been able to keep him stunned from the back, it would have been quick work. But he loves that shield. He is #1 enemy. He is personal. This is a personal attack. You got to tango with an
EOD paladin. You got to tango with a dedicated tank, and that's what a dedicated tank feels like.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, I was actually like, honestly, the fun of it was just like taking out oh my gosh, flashbang. Like, I was prepared to grapple her because she was stunned, and I was like, I'm just gonna grapple her, and look, we have someone on top of Smiley. We're just gonna take both of them. No, that didn't work out, but...
Yeah.
That was just wild.
That was messy and fun. Yeah.
She was already down. That poor girl. That poor girl, she was already down.
Military guy. Yeah, and the girl. Gosh, that was brutal.
Yeah, she really did.
Truck.
She got,
truck.
Yeah, she did not.
I was like, oh no, he's gonna run her over with the truck. That's so mean.
She was already poisoned. She was already poisoned. She was already stunned.
For 2 turns, mind you.
Yeah. No, she was fumbling to exist.
Well, it was amazing. I loved the run over. Actually.
Yeah, it was brutal and awesome.
For me, it was a choice between can I dodge this or am I gonna get a hit and just be done for? And I decided, fuck it, let's see what we can do, and maybe I'll get through it. So I'm like, let's kill her. Let's get this over with, and maybe I can get some support over here as I'm getting it fucking shish kebabbed from below.
Yep. And that's what, you had talked about the spear pulling people, Connor. And I had originally thought for this guy, but then I was like, I'm going to give him the Heartseeker point so that he can aim for weak targets with that piston.
Yep.
Yes. No, and like, not only, like, that is just a terrifying weapon. That was
seriously.
Wild. Seeing poor, I mean... That was that was just such an ignoble end for
Usi.
Granted, he was doing nothing with smiles, so he was probably bad.
I loved his opener against Usi. Usi's like hiding behind it, and he actually had infrared on, so he saw your heat signature, and it let him beat your stealth by 1 because of the bonus of +3 to seeing heat signatures. So he knew you were behind the thing, and so he lunged over the vehicle and then just punctured through at you.
Sick.
Even with the tail, you can't be cold-blooded.
He made it personal. This is on site, like, #1 enemy.
And the same was true when I said that you saw the lights change in his visage. That was my subtle cue that he changed to NMMW to look through the roof at Kairos, because he had just been alerted because Kairos got to 22 trace, which was what their sweep program. So they deployed a security detector program. That's what in the beginning intro that I was telling that she deployed a program. It's a stationary passive detection software, and she rolled a 22 for the threshold that needs to be reached to detect. And so as soon as Kairos hit that, she cued him to his location, and he went after Kairos.
Because I opted to not ghost and instead went offensive, and that's what got me caught. Because next round, if I hadn't been seen, I was going to ghost. But at that point, I was debating.
Ghost wouldn't have.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered at that point because he had already seen where I was. It was prior to the activation. So the reason I bring it up is I would have ghosted beforehand if I chose to do the defensive move instead of the offensive maneuver. So
Ghost. So Josh, Ghost is for submersion space invisibility.
Sure, but it won't get rid of the visual.
Once you're found out by Trace, you're like lit. Especially if there's a program tracking you. So the only way you do that is by cooling down your trace value below the threshold again.
Well, yes, but that's a thing we added after the mission.
Yeah, that's the thing that we added after the mission, but in general, or I mean a skill that you can go down one of the trees and grab, but in general, that's why you're like Trace, once you hit that threshold, you're lit up. You're a known entity at that point, and while you're in submersion space doing stuff or throwing out programs, you're just pinging your location every time you do it.
So there's something we should figure out too, is like latent trace values of whatever locations we're in, unless they're altered, because we had no information on the trace of the area, and maybe that's something I need to figure out how to find. What alerts the area? What's the buildup? And with her, it was a program activation.
Yeah, this area didn't actually have any trace value to its like you weren't gonna activate police really. It would have been.
I figured I wasn't.
High. It's all because of her program. So if you look at the security detector.
No,
program,
I know the program and which one it was. I almost took it for this mission, actually. So, it's just a matter of resources and learning how and where, and then figuring out what trace is gonna feel like and what it does and how it functions, and how to think about it. Not just in a linear sense and be abstract with it and intelligent with it. So, but and that's one of the interesting parts with the net diver is it's almost like a battle of wills against the cyberpunk gods when it comes to sorting your trace value and what is going to matter. It's very hard to. I think that's part of the reason I've been struggling with the value of what trace should and shouldn't be. Is there's not a good way to measure its impact, or it doesn't feel like I can measure its impact or get a sense of that, right? Because 20 trace meant nothing in the last couple situations, but this is a whole nother scenario with a program and a counter net diver. So there's other factors that I would need to not only take into account, but then measure. So it's just, it's the balance, it's the dance, it's sussing out how it feels.
And you don't learn this sort of play in another game, right?
No,
you don't
right?
you don't jump into
D&D detox.
Yeah.
Like it's Trace is a whole new thing. So what is it like to fight another net diver? And you have a taste of one who's designed to sort of hunt or at least make known a net diver. Yeah.
Well, and it also changes like your understanding of positioning. Like if I was 10 feet to the right, I'd be on a whole other building and still have plenty of physical and local access without a problem.
Right. I mean, although I wouldn't expect you to predict a impaling spear to come and be your downfall, but yeah, it was not an ideal situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wild. Well, I'm gonna head out because it's 10 o'clock for me.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So
thanks for coming
Thank you
out,
so
folks.
much for joining, Connor.
it was a pleasure. I will see you guys later. Have a good one.
See you, bud.
Catch you
bye-bye.
later.
I'm also probably gonna head out because it is 11
Alrighty.
for me.
Yeah.
So I will see you guys
Great
for our
game.
next round.
Take care, Cal.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Brandon, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Oh man, it was good. It was ever evolving. The battlefield. I think that's what I enjoyed the most about it in comparison to other engagements. Right, it felt a lot less static. You know, there were more things that you had to adapt to, which I appreciated. That was a great challenge, and I think there were a couple of clear moments for me and Cash and I that signified changing from offense to escape. Right? He changed rapidly to how do I get the hell out of here. The moment that he watched Valiant leap across boxes to pierce the net diver through the ceiling. And Brandon knew what Valiant was the moment the shield was deployed because it was on Zircon's list to go down that path.
Yeah.
He beat himself up at one point. And I was like, oh no. I was like, he's tanky. Smiles isn't getting any damage done to him. I was like, I can do armor damage. I don't do a lot of damage. I was like,
yeah. You're not a combatant at all.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like at the end of the day, your skill set is everything else pretty much, not that.
I immediately was like, if I can draw any attention away from our net diver, I'll try to do that. I
Yep.
was like, but aside from that, I pretty much had it in my head like, I gotta try to steal this fucking van and drive away. I was like, I gotta get to whatever their vehicle is. I was like, do as much damage as possible. And actually, the end turned out similar. I kind of thought we'd be a little more successful, like loading up one of their bodies.
Sure.
But aside from that, I was like, people will be jumping on the roof of the van, and we're going to be speeding away or something like that. It was a trap. We walked into a trap.
I thought that was a great statement of yours when you're like, "This was a fucking trap, guys. Like, we're getting out of this alive.
You win this. You survive this."
Yeah. And I thought that was a great perspective too, because like, you know, of course, it's like, I'm cheering for you guys. I want to see you guys succeed and take them out and beat the location out of them and all of this sort of stuff. But ultimately, this was a trap that you guys were thrown into. You weren't expecting this. You thought the people you were looking for were here.
100%. I was it was. There was actually a point where I was like, Cassius does get in the van and drive away. But I was like, you know what? That's why I said he's a member. He's a member of Odin, so he's not abandoning them. But he did give the clear signal. The bus is leaving.
Yeah.
I'm here now, and if you don't get in this van, I am driving away. Knowing, of course, that Amon was jumping on the roof with the body and just all that stuff. So,
yeah.
aside from that, hey, we sold girls, baby. Got you a leg.
Do you think you sold it?
I mean,
you made an agreement with a man. That's what you did.
Do you want your leg or not?
I'm still unconscious. And that leg's gonna already be attached.
I also want to say there was a fluidness to this game, like, and this is what I've noticed with the combat, because it's more dynamic combat, right? And I love you talking about like it's not static, because right when you play D&D, there's a little bit of movement, but like ultimately you're kind of standing still, just swinging your swords or shooting your things, and you know, maybe somebody's taking cover behind something or whatnot. A little bit of positioning that are going on, but in this, it's like everything is moving constantly, right? Like Cash is over here, then Smiles comes charging in and he backs up, and then he's rotating over and taking a pot shot at Flashbang, and Flashbang is going down, so he starts moving over to look at what, then you know, you're just like all over the place. It's like an actual combat scene.
Yeah, it actually felt a lot like he was like not the person in charge at all by any means.
Sure.
Like in a conducting position, like in the center of the room.
In the center and kind of, yeah,
like coming over here. What's happening here? Okay, this looks handled. What's happening here? Oh shit, that guy went there. All right, I'm gonna run over here. And so it's just that was intriguing. That was good.
And like how you guys are fighting down here, and Connor moves up. And then Kairos goes down, and then Connor and them start swinging around while you guys go and pursue. And then Connor's securing Kairos right as you're getting in the van, because this is not going good. And then there's like this fluidness that just naturally happened, that like, oh yeah, you guys are like an elite fucking team. Yeah. Like you're not able to get the optimal outcomes. So you're like, okay, let's just get out of here alive. And everybody's doing their thing. And it just felt really cool. Good.
And to that effect, the structure of the session, I think, also helped a lot with that.
Did it? Okay.
I felt much more. You actually made a comment at one point, Josh, like you're like, you look so intense right now, like so serious right now.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously because of the situation we're in, but also the structure helps to even keep me focused. You know, I like to think I'm pretty focused anyways. However, it helped me. I was like, okay. I was like, this is game time. This is battle time.
How was my descriptions? I would love feedback of just like taking some time in between people's actions to kind of play out what just took place, so that it felt a little bit more like
it was
narrative.
Great.
It was okay. Good.
In my opinion, one of my favorite thing. It's something that I didn't realize wasn't there until this evening. Yep. Right, and it's not that it was never there, but the level at which you were doing it, and I hope it's not too taxing. It was like, it felt so much more vivid. I could see more of the room and understand. Like you
Awesome.
mentioned, and it also triggered things with me. Like you mentioned the black viscous liquid coming out of the barrels. I was like, is that crude oil? I was like, can I light that on fire and blow this fucking place up? I was like, that's an option. Okay,
It
log that
was
back
crude,
there.
actually.
Yeah. So like that's what that did for me as a player, right? I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm hearing about and learning more about my environment, so I have more to work with.
So
So it was a great new level.
the three things that I'll point out that I noticed distinctly while
Yeah.
I was managing Windows, and also the images are going to be funky. The timer wouldn't actually shut off, which has irritated me the whole fucking stream.
Okay.
But the three things that I think had the biggest impact outside of the overall like dynamic change, right? The intro conversation that you put together, the narrative, that was big.
Yeah, it was
It
great.
painted a good picture.
Okay.
And that in particular I point out, and maybe it's something you want to be more careful with. It was great for us, but when you described the opposing team, the Smiles and those guys,
Yeah.
that actually revealed a lot more information. That
I was intentional about that, actually.
okay, good, because some of that information was not known to other people that weren't me, and that helps paint the picture, of course, but it also is relevant in combat. It's knowledge, right?
I wanted to give just a little bit more of a heads up to what you guys were facing. And not like too much, but just a little bit.
Yep.
And that also made it way more dynamic of an intro, because if I just like left them sort of like not very descriptive, I just didn't think it would have like this impact of like this is going to be a showdown.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to comment on it and see if you had intentionally given more info. So that's cool. The third part of it, and this is the one that I think is going to be mattered the most, is actually descriptive turn recaps from you specifically.
Okay, cool.
Dude, that was it. That was the move.
That is the move, I think, because for one, all you're doing is giving a flavorful description of what happened for the viewer from the player. So yes, it requires you to talk more, but it really kind of drives that home. And then that's a level of how much you want to be involved, because if the said player is very descriptive or very vocal about how they do their thing, then your recap can be far more, terse or not terse, abrupt, right? So I think that really drove a lot of this home. That was good.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. And do let me know if there's things that I can do better too, with things that you're like, this was good, or this was all right. I think if you did this or this, I think that would take it yet again another level. I just want to kind of improve to make sure it's still entertaining for those watching.
It also drives the players to be a little more descriptive. I think all of us did it a little better.
Yeah.
I think it also, and I gotta commend Kel on this too. I think playing more narratively actually works in her favor, because she really likes to go into those details, and she does really well with it. As long as we can temper it, right?
And she was locked in.
She was killing it. It was great.
No, I mean, she had very little pausing and like decision atrophy.
Yeah.
And so, and that was one of my hopes. I think like by being more narrative focused, I think it's going to help more early on players or people who aren't as new feel a bit more comfortable in the situation.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see her in another stressful situation, because she, for all the previous, for the growth that she's had, right? The combat she went in now was about as stressful as it could possibly get. And that's trial by fire. That's temperance through trials. Like that's good.
Went toe to toe with a fucking Eidolon tank. So
Eidolon Eidolon Spartan. Yeah, like the guy was just.
Yeah, I'm okay with him being gone. I like with Cash, I was like holding his gun in my mind. I was like, I wish I had Zircon. I was like, I want to be punching a shield. I was like, I want to be fucking breaking a wall.
Just big old fist.
He could break through the fucking floor and rescue his friend. I was like, no. I was like, instead, I have this slimy bastard who everyone thinks is gonna drive away in a van.
Oh, so
he would go up there and scoop you up and cradle you like a baby.
Papa bear you.
And, yeah, he would be like, don't worry, Cyrus, I've got you.
Well, we don't know yet.
In
We'll
time.
see. We'll see.
In time, yeah, no worries. It's been fun playing Cash too. Don't get me wrong.
Cash is great.
Oh
Just
gosh,
different vibes.
I really like him.
personality-wise, I actually think, I mean, Zircon's great, but
I know.
I love just like Cash's, like he just reeks of vanity, and I just love that. Such a fun personality to play.
Thank you, by the way, for having Allison call him back. He's actually a very weak man. That's something that I wanted to without the money and the bravado and all of that. Like, he needs his team. You know, what's a manager without one? So when she called him, being able to, like, in his mind, that's the fatal flaw here. He's like, you motherfuckers drove our driver away. We wouldn't have even been in this situation.
That's so funny.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Well, that's the Allison situation too, right? She was fine. She was only rude to me, and then everybody like piled on.
I know.
I mean,
I should be the only one
Uzi-
with a beef with Allison right now.
Uzi was perfect though, because Uzi was convinced, totally forgot that scent is on clothing and stuff like that.
The enemy. I was like, no.
And that was the straw.
He's my driver.
She didn't mind as much Kairos, but when she was like being accused of being like on the take of like these people that you're hunting down, and she's like your contracted driver, she's like, who the fuck are these people?
Cash was like, I don't understand. He was like, she flew here with us. Like, I work for the same company as you. Like, we're no.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and just before we
made
went
sense to Uzi, which was so good.
Right. And just before we went in this warehouse, I sent because Allison wasn't picking up, I sent my dragon off to go figure out where the shit she went.
I had a feeling you did something that had to, because you mentioned you sent it off. You were like, who knows what it's gonna be? I was like, is he killing my driver right now?
I was thinking about it, but no, I actually figured out all of her likes and dislikes, and I was gonna get her a whole gift package from the team. But then,
now
of
that
course,
is how you win Cash's heart.
Well, I'm still debating. Do I want to give her gifts, or do I want to bury her body? I haven't quite decided yet.
Allison has gotten her forgiveness gift. Don't worry. Yeah. She now has a nice, very well-equipped armored vehicle.
Cash comes through again. I like to think. I want to play him as just like Lucky too.
Yeah.
You fucking bastard. Like, just ready to burn it all down to get whatever done. It's been really great.
I kind of like Cash too, because like, again, he just strikes me as a person who's like grew up rich, grew up wealthy, and so like objects, like he's like, yeah, a strip club, that's like worth 5,000, right? Yeah, sure, of course, for your cybernetic leg. Oh yeah, sorry gift, yes, have this highly equipped armored van. Of course, that makes total sense. It's like a bouquet of flowers, right?
It's
like
not
he has no concept of actual money. He's just like, this makes sense, yeah.
Because I'm passed out, and I'm having to disassociate, right? I have to none of this is happening. I can't say anything. But I structured this whole thing, and you're not hearing this as Cash, by the way.
I know.
You're an owner operator, like you're franchising a Chick-fil-A. You don't own shit. You just operate it. I own it.
Well, there was something alluded to at one point. It might have even just been you and I talking.
We were just talking. I think I've talked about this once before. Yeah, because I was gonna blackmail the warehouse guy with all the fucking.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I was gonna sell it to him. Yes. Yeah, I'm still going to do that.
That's the thing with Cash and that whole situation is he doesn't care like whether he's the owner or not. As long as he can use it as a bargaining chip. He needs the bargaining chip, and that's it. And he just wants you to get the leg. It's a brand
perfect.
For him.
It's an S-class too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wake up because here's the thing. I'm gonna wake up and be like, what the fuck did you all do?
Because you're in submersion space. You have zero. I mean, other than the tingling leg. I mean,
I was there and then out.
Gonna wake up with screaming pain.
I'm going to be down a leg, So, and then what I'm probably going to end up doing is actually selling girls. I'm going to blackmail them. I'm just not going to say anything. So the guy that you just had a verbal deal with is going to run and own it while it's owned by someone else.
That's all. Cash wants that. That type of chaos is what his whole life is. I like to think there's just a trail of that kind of shit behind him.
and he runs fast enough so none of it
He
catches
really is
up
just
to him.
like a good gambler, right? Like he's just like outrunning his addiction until it catches him one day, right?
What's the twister noise behind you? It's the lions from the movie
God.
Twister. Just as you frolic through the world.
Oh my god.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
That was
wow.
fun. As infuriating as it was for me to shut up the whole time.
Oh man.
But I mean, like,
I know it's difficult.
You
It
did
was
a
great.
lot, though. You did a lot, Kairos. Like, honestly.
Oh, I don't feel bad for my performance at all.
No, I mean, blocking off the route, which totally reshaped how the battlefield was approached. I mean, minus Valiant, but it definitely
Still
placed...
made him have to do it, yeah.
Well, and it created a massive distance between Valiant and Flashbang.
That was at least 2 turns without buffs. Yeah.
Valiant can actually defend within 5 feet his ally, and so the whole idea was they move as a pair, and he defends because she's light, whatever. But she wasn't gonna. She didn't have the skills to go jumping over that thing, and
She's
Valiant was like, I need to take out this.
Sorry.
Needs to take out this assassin lady. But honestly, and then of course the crunching. That just felt like right out of a movie, right? The
That's
villain
why I
goes
did it.
down, coughing, and then the vehicle, and like they just look up, and then oh, that was a movie moment.
That's why I did it. It was like, because I knew about the dodge. I'm thinking to myself, do I want to just chance it? Can I? And I was about this close from hitting my capstone. I thought about it after the turn finish. I'm like, nah, damn, too late. And then I just moved on with it.
If you weren't a target at that point, my goal would have been to try to drag her body out to the van and then evac. But I was like, it was just that split. In that round, she went down, and I was like, yes, the body I need. And then it was like,
and then
you
leaping
go down.
across the crates.
No. Oh.
Because the one point that I think I had to like literally stop myself from saying anything is when Uzi went out to chase after Valiant. I was like, no, we've got Smiles, let him go. But I couldn't. I was out cold on the floor. It was great
that
though.
was Connor's preference too, and I think that would have been.
I think that was on me actually that she did chase him.
Well, no, that was great though. It's what Cash would have. That's the character.
It is because he didn't want him to get in the van and drive away. He wanted the van.
And I like honestly, from my point of view, I'm like, oh Jesus, Smiles is useless this entire fight. Flashbang just went down. Sure, he stabbed the leg. But Valiant's gonna go down. And I'm like, does Valiant just run? And I'm like, no, because Valiant knows if he doesn't hit you again, you're just gonna fucking take him out of the van, and he's not gonna be able to get away. And so Valiant knows he's got to take out the net diver, or he's not escaping. And so he just went all out. He just ignored, and he's like, I gotta get rid of this net diver so I can actually get to my van. And even though that's not how it all ended up playing out, like, I was like, this is pretty much on its wind down. And then it just kept going, and then he started roiding himself up, and I'm like, oh Jesus, he might actually be able to turn this. Especially with Uzi running out of edge dice.
Yeah. His durability was a main factor, I think, in my mind, for changing motive to escape. Because Smiles hadn't taken any damage. It was getting much later in the round. And I was like, we're about to have to fight 2 of these, and he still is regaining armor. I was like, we're getting beat up. I was like, no fucking way. I was like, these are the 2 beefcakes of the group. I have zero. My armor is shit.
Yeah. You were just lucky nobody turned their ire on you.
In half one time. It was like he comes up, claw, crunch, I'm dead. Like,
I mean, Connor's not far behind, so it was very lucky Connor dodged that claw. I thought, like, I was even telling Josh, I'm like, if Connor takes that first claw, I don't know if he's going to be able to stay up. like quite honestly, because then you got the fire to contend with too. That's just ticking away at the DOT, so you got to put that out.
Yeah, that's insane.
So Smiles was the right choice, honestly. Like, had you taken out Valiant with that same sort of stun, and Smiles had kept going, I actually think it would have been a more difficult scenario, because Kairos can't manipulate Smiles. Smiles is pure organics.
Yep.
And Smiles can literally stop at any of these downed gangers and just take a chomp out and start putting on HP.
Oh.
And still go and claw somebody.
And he's armored out. Like, the dude was the real problem on the field.
Oh, I
dealt with instantly. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how things continue to progress. I have fucking nothing. I have a gun. But that's
you
what
have
I've got left.
you have a gun, my dude. It is a very good
gun.
gun.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. That's not to discount the gun. But my primary resource, which has lasted very long, is tapped out. All of my edge dice are gone. Like,
yeah, some of you are rocking some stims though. I think you probably pilfer a stim off of Kairos's body.
I got one in a pocket somewhere.
Yeah, I actually didn't.
No, probably don't. It went with the leg apparently. Sorry.
Yeah.
He just pilfers
right through
your other
my pants.
stuff.
Just zip, takes all my empties my pockets.
Probably stabbed you with the edge with the stem, being like, "You're gonna need this to make it through the surgery, bud."
Right.
Keep that heart a ticking.
I love the idea that I got you like the worst doctor.
Dude, I was thinking to myself, like, this guy's gonna just take a fucking bar rag and wrap it around my stump. I haven't decided.
One of the holes
Oh my god, I was hoping. So as Kairos, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill you all. As me, I'm like, please God, give me a peg leg. Just do it.
There is no way that Cassius Kingsley would ever allow a member of his team to not get access to the finer things. That is only if, you have the opportunity, though. But there's no way he would have given you a pole.
I would have changed my online moniker to Johnny Scurvy Leg. I might still.
Johnny Scurvy Leg.
Yeah, man.
That was
I think
fun.
I think Cash still has a chance with Uzi. I think it's still alive.
I love that we can have games of almost no combat. You guys just puzzle solving, and that's fun. And I love that we can jump into combat. And I'm just keep on replaying this combat in my head, and I'm like, God, it just felt like a movie scene.
Yeah,
it just felt like it just moved. It's dynamic. I just love it. Even like the assassinating everybody before. Right? Like,
oh god, yeah, that was picturesque in my head. That was
fantastic.
Theater of the mind right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, being able to switch channels and listen. Thank you for the clarification on that.
Yeah.
That made all the difference in a couple of my decisions as well.
I was hoping. I was like, oh, I hope he really uses that, because honestly, that ability to tap into EMS signals is so nice.
Listening to it, switching to the MMW was big for me to be able to see what people were doing. It was how I was able to know when flashbang. I was like, okay, she's bad. She's ducked down. She's injured. She's she's reloading. I was like, I don't need
Uzi's coming up on her.
Having that sight over the battlefield and hearing what the enemy is doing. That's kind of, I think, what put me as a player in what felt like a conductor's position. Probably what I would imagine is the closest that you get to feel on the battlefield to a net diver, because every time I see the net diver screen comes up, I think of you, Josh, and I'm like, he's conducting the battlefield, right?
That's generally what I want to do. That's always what I want to try and do. That's provide as much info, but not this time.
And you do know it. You did.
Until I was passed out.
The moves you made were integral, though.
What's that all about? That was a realization.
I still was in my fucking cloaked shit, and he had a -5 to hit.
I think he still would have hit you.
I wish I could see the rolls.
You were -10, man, and that guy was running. He was boosted.
Oh, he was boosted. Never mind then. That's fine.
Yeah, he was like literally the second time he hit you, he crit, but he was targeting for your leg, so he just hit your leg. Like, I don't think it would have.
I forgot about the boost. Difference. It wouldn't have made a difference because of the boost.
And you're massive. I mean, it would have been instead of a -10, it's a -5 penalty. Yeah.
I still would have taken it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
I tell you what. I will have to see what the other amps on the other items do, but that fucking piston spear is.
Oh, it's nutty, dude. That's why I put it on that drone. Sweet. Brandon, did I ever show you the image for the fucking dude?
No, I didn't see the image for it.
You saw the video. I think I sent you that.
Video?
Yeah, for.
Did you?
The Candyman can.
Hold on.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah, that's for Waylon. But where's my other characters? Gorgon, there it is. Daedalus Waylon. I'm gonna put it on screen here. I'll just send it to you too. So this is the drone that's wielding almost a very similar spear to what that guy has, except in this case, it can like hook up you with like meat hooks and shit.
Does it have the tether, or is it like a shooty one, or is it
No, it's not a shooty one. It's got the extended range and the pierce
so it's
through
15
walls.
feet.
Yeah, that thing was terrifying.
So basically, if you look, so underneath that, it's gonna be the body would be more spidery like this, and I guess I should put this on screen here. But okay, beneath the cloak, right? So this thing is like a stealth robot repo fucker up in the shadows. Spear comes out of the darkness to just yank somebody into and just disappear. Oh,
yeah.
So gross, and it hits super fucking hard.
That is creepy.
It's fun. Put some of these on the screen here as I'm talking my face off. Test groups.
That's fun. Okay.
What the hell do we do next?
What's that?
I said that's gonna be the question: is what the hell do we do next?
Yeah.
How do we save these assholes?
Man, I don't. And then we get there's so much to do. So I have to wake up.
I know.
What's image 2?
Yep.
So. But so no, that was good. Everybody did cool shit. We've got the.
Well, I ended you guys with your next lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I did get that image up. That was the last one you sent me.
Okay, good. You did get the image up.
Yep.
Great. I didn't cue it, but.
No, I tried to follow once I got the timer under control.
Yeah.
As best as I could. So. And even on people's turns, if I wasn't like trying to read something or distracted, I tried to switch to everybody's image for each of their turns, even the enemies. So
I love that.
One day I'll figure out how to automate it, but this might be the walk into Streamlabs ultimate. So we'll see.
I already think it is several steps above what we were producing as
head and shoulders.
Oh, man, it is. Yeah. It looks great.
Thank you.
So
yeah,
we just
it's good.
Continue pushing with it. I almost want to do a couple social media posts with shows the character images, but then like red filling up where they're at with their HP amount, and like crossed off for the ones who are dead or whatever. And so like the enemy lineup and then your guys' lineup of like how the fight ended.
KO.
Yeah.
It's like Tekken sounds. Virtual Fighter.
Hey, we walked away with people alive, though.
We did.
They walked away with someone dead, and they had to walk away.
That is true.
And I was towards the end there when we were getting down to Smiles waking up. I'm in my brain. I'm like, well, gonna make another character.
Yeah, Smiles woke up. You guys were fucked. Out of edge dice, I mean, the only one who could have done something is like maybe Connor still, because Connor still, I think, was sitting on a decent amount of edge dice and he had been largely unmolested.
Yeah.
But Uzi was done.
Yeah.
I have one more grenade.
You have one more grenade.
That's all I got.
Smiles gets out onto anybody, and he was. I mean, maybe you do enough damage in one area that you down him right away.
He was stripped in 2 areas, right? I think it was left
3,
leg
actually.
and left arm. Oh yeah, and part of his torso.
Left arm, and torso was nearly gone. But again, I mean, like, unless you are mortally wounding him, and even then, the guy is 8 endurance. He's literally 4 dex, 4 strength. He's just a pure. I mean, he's not clearly not the most intelligent dude in the world. Very clearly.
That was why Cash didn't want to capture Smile.
Yeah.
He was like, we're not going to get information from this guy.
Literally smiles in the intro, doesn't pay attention to the east door ajar, and is like, ooh, bodies to eat.
He's like a dog.
Yeah.
He's like, me hungry.
That's exactly. I wanted him to be super scary looking, and then it's just like this like toddler level, like,
yeah.
There's
hey
just
guys,
a tuba playing
what a
behind
bunch of
him
dummies!
wherever he goes.
He's a worm in armor.
Literally, he never uses his EMS. That's his thing. He just always speaks because he's got this giant mouth, and he's just like talking. All of my text for him is in all caps as well.
Nice.
I love it.
Prime candidate for Neon 80s.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Talk about
Neon
retire.
Go to Neon 80s.
Yep.
Well, fucking Valiant too. That guy just didn't quit. He was just.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was good.
He was the one that I knew I could conceptualize the damage that Smiles could do.
Sure.
He, between the consumables and the equipment that he had, he was throwing more twists and turns into the agenda, right? Every time it seemed like you were breaking through to him,
he was there. He moved into that position where he needed to be.
He was taking a new drug. He was skyrocketing across the map. He was exiting, making like he was the most fucking. He was the wild card in that situation. I was like, all right, well,
yeah,
I don't know what the fuck to do about this guy.
And this is where, like, I hope for all of our viewers, and it's like, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do, and you might think like, oh, just being a street samurai or EOD, that's boring sauce. Like, no, like you can do some wicked stuff.
And when God lists off their cybernetics, write them down so you remember or actually register that he has cyber eyes. Because my dumbass didn't do that. Didn't realize. It's in the VOD. I checked too, because I swear to God I didn't hear.
No, I was 100% sure that I said it.
It was right after Swiss Fingers. Very subtle. It's not on you, not your fault. But I completely missed it.
You just missed it.
Yep.
Good times.
Yeah, his eyes would have been done off.
Oh, I know.
Question.
That would have been the next best move. Is like, oh, he's coming for me. Just keep on fucking with his eye scanners.
I would have done that before I burned his arm.
Oh, sure.
I did an overheat. Yeah. I would have turned his eyes off immediately. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should you should also think about the not the jam signal, but the
yeah, it's the reset.
Off program. Reset.
Yeah.
Yes, like you're always looking for that with the hijack. Like most of the time that you want to run a hijack, you want to run it like an off switch, not like a actual hijack.
Yeah. Yep.
That might be a nice, good next buy.
It's on my list, because I also have. So it's a hard dance, right? Like I have to figure out how much of my funds. I also have to figure out how much I'm gonna blackmail this fucking dude for girls, because I have to pay for a cyber leg.
Maybe you don't.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Embrace the chaos. Just flee.
That's we're gonna leave the. I mean, I don't have to be in country to sell the thing to change title documents. Like.
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody that it was yours. It's mine.
Well, you don't even know actually. Cash has no idea. He thinks he owns it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure out and see what's reasonable. I also have to talk to God about that. I don't know what selling a crappy business in the Skid Row is worth, but and then
figure something out. after we get through the mission.
Yeah, because I think we did primary and secondary. I don't think we got tertiary though.
Huh? No, you guys haven't achieved primary. You have to rescue the team.
Oh, that's okay. That's right. Because
if you think these Sync Sim micro drives are the team, I think you're in for a very disappointing realization.
My brain
that
was
these are
going
full of smut.
My brain was going to. I don't have a leg. Time to go home. And we got the signals of the corpses. That's it.
Nope.
There you go. Nope. My brain did not.
No big mission time.
Not even. I'm gonna. Gonna have to work on some rehabilitation. I'm gonna have some canes. I'm gonna have a cane, and I'm gonna hobble my way around as a net diver. Just put me in a fucking. Oh, hover round.
I've got a driver. Maybe she can keep you in the area.
Yeah, there's that.
You trust your body with her.
I think you should be mentally prepared to play largely a backseat in the completion of this mission wherever it goes. I think it's very unlikely that you'll be in any sort of functional state in the next 5 days is your time frame, and day 3 is done. So you guys have 2 days to locate this team.
Yep.
This is it.
Yep.
Speaking of which, Usi is going to be in pretty haggard shape as well. So you're looking at a very diminished Usi and two perfectly
Ronin.
fine Cashin. And
yeah.
Cashin and Mon.
We also gotta remember
Cashin, Mon, and Douglas.
We gotta remember there's 2 Ronin still up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have Allison to thank that they're not tracking down their vehicle.
Yep.
That was my courtesy reintroduction of Allison to make sure you guys don't get ambushed and girls.
I love it.
But it also feels like Allison is the driver. You paid a ton for her. She's gonna know if you jack a car, especially one by Ronin, they're gonna be tracking that sucker.
I actually really like the idea that, and nobody saw it or heard it, which is also great, but that like she really has my back.
Yeah.
I'm constantly doing dumb, stupid rich guy stuff, and she keeps me safe. She's a babysitter.
But like, I think that's the thing too, is like Allison is also sort of vain, like Cash is vain. Like is very like high society mind. Like, yeah, I'm your chauffeur, but like I'm like living. I'm like the top tier chauffeur. I'm like the person who drives.
He's
like
the premier
around.
of chauffeurs, right? That's what it's all about. Being the premier.
Oh yeah. That's a good dynamic. I'm I can't say
that
much
first
more.
pistol shot. I love that first revolver round straight into Smiles that I talked. Like I love depicting that scene because I'm just like, he like looks in after getting like his armor torn off and he sees this guy with energy and then just the glint of the barrel and then boom.
Yeah, that was great. I enjoyed that in the recap. It's a great weapon. I just knew, like, especially when I went to Smiles, I shot him the one time afterwards, and I was like, oh yeah. Like, this is good for most people, and it's if you're armored, it's still going to be good. But for the beefcakes, I need a different person.
Yeah, it's, especially as like a one shot, right? Like, it's going to tear through that armor, and like even if it has armor, I'm still going to get those hits on underneath. But it's one shot. It's better just kind of used to support your allies, which is what you did. I mean, like your shot took out further took out and damaged Flashbang, which then ultimately resulted in her getting incapacitated. For that second stun, and like I love that tag team of Amon hit her in the left arm first, taking off the armor with just a shot from above, and then you get behind the barrel and just bam, same arm.
That felt good.
While simultaneously all of her things are being ejected and turned off, and she's like, "What the fuck?" You guys stacked on her.
In my brain, what happened is it was a WWE cage fight, and we got Usi and Cash jumping from the top of the cage, and then I'm standing up there after it's all done, and I just throw a ladder and it just splats her. That was the truck. Straight up cage fight.
Great. Also, Amon, talking about combat and all that, I haven't gotten to see him do as much as I have in this mission as ever before. I mean, I know he didn't have a lot of that.
He didn't have any of this prior to this mission.
Yeah.
And now he's fucking purple Emperor Palpatine over here. Jesus Christ.
Can't run a quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
But
we little stick legs.
He is a walker.
That's why
he's a walker.
Why they hooked Palpatine up to the floating chair thing, right? You gotta walk.
Mark my words.
He also rolls like crap on his goddamn.
Oh my god, he's so bad.
The other guy has the same amount of dice as him and was like consistently getting 15, and he's like
doesn't even average. Doesn't even average generally. I need to track his fucking rolls, honestly. I want to just see the numbers.
He gets them where they count. God, his barrages are so brutal.
Yeah.
That triple barrage against Flashbang.
Oof.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, he's a scary dude.
Yeah,
Tissue paper, slow as hell, but scary.
Yeah, it's the cage. It'll do that to you.
Yeah.
Oh, and the fear too. I mean, that's the thing. Like now with his terrormancy stuff he's got going on, and like the utility of delving and memory weaving and stuff. Like he can do a heck of a lot now. Like at first, like remember when we started, Josh? Like way back when, like he was just like, I'm just here to shoot stuff.
I just want to
Now
Hadouken.
he's like, he's just like Hadoukening. Now with all of his ability to read and weave and stuff, the guy can just like manipulate people's minds and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's an adjacent utility, you know.
What was that, Brendan?
Requires what?
Oh, I said he requires consent. He said.
Yeah.
He won't do it without consent. I respect that.
He's a pleasant guy.
A terrifying terrormancy person with morals.
Who always says "I love you" to his contacts when he hangs up.
Yeah, I love that he's also proficient in intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he started putting points into it.
Yep.
I recommended he start putting points into intimidation. Yeah.
He is there to twist your mind.
Yeah.
He's just like the sweetest guy if you know him as a friend, but in combat situations, he's just like, and you will die from your mind corroding its own fear, eating itself. It's like, oh god.
Cash saw him do it, actually, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, right next to him, got up close.
Yeah, he was the guy. He was like, oh, that's what you do.
That just happened.
Did you enjoy that cue of the scream outside and the moaning and then the thudding of the body? And just like I was like my little head nod to Amon Vecht.
Yeah. The twisted face as they walked up, person just like, ear to death. Ear to death.
Seriously, like heart just done and face just like locked in perpetual horror.
So good.
Maybe I'll do a Scion at some point.
Oh my god. Do you want to say it, Paul? Do you want to tell him what we were planning? Maybe?
I
told John, right, like before you say anything, this isn't something we require from you, Brett. We're just one day in the future, maybe. Just
I was saying, if you ever did something and it was me and you were GMing and it was me, Connor, and Josh, I'm like, Connor's gonna be a Scion, but I'm like, Josh, what if we're all Scions and we just play as a conclave of Scions, all with our own thing?
House of Autumn's End.
That would be so fucking cool. House of Autumn's End, just like a Scion council. One's like a stealth Scion, one's like just a damagey, and another one's man.
I mean, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought that was, but yes, Scions are cool.
They are cool. Yes. Oh, so good. Cool. I can't make enough and play enough characters. I just can't. It's like
that is the problem I want everybody to have with this game is like once they get a taste for it and understand and be like, oh wait, what if I do this? And oh my gosh, look at this pot, and just like never ending. Just you can always go back to the books and be like, I can make this and this and this and this, and like you just get lost in it until you have something that sounds fantastic.
And today is a great example of something that I think I want to do. Gladiator arenas, like that's fucking great. It's just this. It's this. It's this.
Yeah.
Like, who says no to this? I don't know. It was fun. So
Yeah, I think it was a blast.
turn it into like the battle bots where you got hazards and shit on the field, right?
Or like I was telling Josh, I was printing out characters, character sheets for an in-person game I'm gonna run at our local center, and I was reviewing the level 1 EOD Paladin. The guy literally, like, why I call him level 1, as far as like difficulty tier of like understanding this character, literally all he uses is chapter 2, 3, and 4. He has no pharmacy, no cybernetics, no anything. Bat-birthed EOD Paladin with the second to heaviest armor, so he has like 19 armor on every body spot, 10 HP, and he's running a 20 HP shield. So 29, and this is beginning character. This is just beginning funds. And all he does, he doesn't even run, he has a shotgun just in case he needs it, but literally all he wants to do is just run up and shield bash people for days.
So
just
he's basically
shield
the
bashing
Michelin
around
Man with a shield.
Yeah. Just big old honky-dory 5 strength, go nuts. And I'm just like, this is gonna be so fun, just like watching what the Spartan did, except like you're just like a moving bulldozer.
Squishing people into things.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And one of these days, I'm gonna convince Josh also to make his shield thrower. He's always wanted, always talked about a dual wielding shield thrower, and you can do it with an EOD Paladin. Just
that is on the
can
docket.
even get him blade rimmed, can get him to return to you.
Yep.
Figure out what another character. This evening, I will say I was tempted. At one point, I was like, you know, if things get bad enough, Cash is gonna leave everybody. At the end, I was like, he will drive away in the van and be like, they just couldn't cut it. You know,
It was a thing I was thinking about. I'm like, yeah, you could leave.
And I was like, well, at the same time, as much as I don't personally want to be a person who goes through characters so quick, I was like, if I did that with Cash, I'm retiring him, right? Like, he's done. I'm moving on to another character. So I was like, you better think about what your next character is going to be. If that's the move, I was like, well, it sounds like with Cash, I might have to be ready to have a new character at any point in time. Because that is his default when things get rough, self-preservation.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
no touchy.
I just loved it when Josh was like, the other day, we were thinking of like House of Gorgon and what Josh was going to run. And then he's like, oh, I don't know, I'll probably run drones and stuff. And then he starts combining drones with repo work. And I'm like, oh, God, I hadn't even really thought about that. But just like, these little scarab drones going down and like pulling out organs from like a bigger drone that's like ripped open. They're just like, oh, Jesus, that's horrifying.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Do I have...
and would absolutely exist in this world, just like a Ripper doc who's just like, I'm just gonna use my drones to do all the dirty work and bring me my organs, my pretties.
Absolutely take a little time this week to think about a character.
I loved making these three. These three were a blast.
On the stream, if you guys have it running, I never shared the ad version of the Wayland's Whisk.
Wait, where is it?
Should be on the stream now.
That's right.
Oh no, wait, let me get to it.
Let me know when you're there and I'll hit play. There's about a 5-6 second delay.
Oh, here, hold on. Let me kill the music.
Okay.
Yeah, let me real quick.
I'll make sure the audio's coming through too. I think I would. So this is my Ripper Doc drone runner with the crazy scary guy with the spear.
All right, I'm here.
All right.
Like a wet steel to the knife, like a bright light to the night, like a kill switch to your life. I hope you think twice. I don't play nice. Open up, surprise.
I love it.
So good.
And it's a bakery on the front end?
He is, yep, it is a pastry shop on the front end. and he runs the sweet shop, repo in the back. Um, he's a
So good.
sprawl dock with drones.
Oh, and that was the last thing I wanted to say to you, Brandon, when you were talking about like having the eyes to see through and it giving you a command of the field. That's exactly what I was talking about when I was like how I made Dredge. My character that I'll play one day is like literally like his defense is just knowing where everything's at all the time.
All the
And
senses.
just like and honestly, it's because of those senses that you knew exactly where to go to stay out of trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when you were talking about Dredge, it was actually a great moment for me because I always think about them in application when you're seeking something, not when you're trying to avoid things. So I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I have no armor. I was like, I have to know where everything is all the time to keep myself in the best position constantly. That's my first move is protect self.
Yeah.
So that evening that we were talking about that character, I was like, I'm gonna use that so much more to have my awareness peaked, right? I'm gonna hear, I'm going to see anything and everything that I can. So that was actually extremely helpful to have that character described. And talking about the EOD Paladin Street Samurai and how like they can be perceived as like kind of boring, right? When you think about all of the stuff that's there. I felt that way. I thought about the agent, which is why I wanted to push myself to do it. And it's real cool,
Oh
right?
yeah,
I mean,
it's really cool. They're all awesome.
I didn't think of Cash as like a super secret agent man, but he is, right? He has
Just
a
in his own
sleazy
way,
twist,
his own flair.
but yeah, but he really is. He's got all of this stuff, and especially in the build up to the mission itself, I now see where in the future I can provide much more value in recon and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
right? There were a couple of things I missed in the very beginning when we were doing this, but yeah, it's the agent is I think of those three, I think all of them when you look at them, we know the trope of the street samurai type, the EOD paladin type, and the agent type, but when you play them here, you see a new level of depth to each one of those tropes that it's actually something once you have it you're like how could I live without it, how could I not have that?
Yeah, and you're used to those standard classes, those mindsets to be contained within that character or class's almost ideology. But here, that's just the foundation. That's just the first brick laid.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he's it's been so interesting, even all of his cybernetics and stuff. Most of it is it's like it is the whole host of the quality of life book, right? The ears, the eyes, the vocals, the Swiss fingers, the face, right? Yeah, like it's just like everything that was where all of his money went. No, none of the like cool offensive kick ass fly. He can't fly. He can't do any of the. He can't jump or wall run or anything. And I think in the beginning I was even like, oh man, is this gonna be worth it?
And it was.
And I 100% feel like it's worth it. I'll tell you the next thing he's getting is the metabolism because Cash Baby without his stuff.
The open palm.
The open palm actually is amazing too.
Well, what was that comment that Will said about wanting to buy utility items before combat items? I love that.
Like Will, who was playing, he built like this combat character and everything. And he's like, the first thing he wanted to do when he finished the mission is like, I need to get more utility items. Like, and I love that somebody walks out of a mission and is like, I want to go for the stuff that isn't about combat. It isn't about like making myself more tanky. I want the things that are going to let me like just be able to manipulate the world more. That tells me that this world feels way more alive and tangible than some of these other TTRPGs.
It does. And it's, we hope that you do that immensely well also. We want to be a part of it because it feels alive. So
all right, well, we'll wrap up. I'll end with a statement that I love I love that perception and awareness can actually be a defense in this game. I don't think you'd find that in any other game where like perception and just having a lot of great perception is your shield. And I'm through the moon that is an actual possibility in this game.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, man, it's great. Okay, let's wrap up. It is definitely bedtime, but appreciate everybody who came out to watch. Appreciate the awesome comments. Thank you, Jamie. I hope it was far more entertaining than last time. And we'll just kind of keep with this format and kind of iterate on it each time.
Yeah, we'll have a new format and layout for this post-mortem is what we'll probably end up calling it, something of those degrees. It's just the review. We'll have that up and running hopefully in the next session. We should be fine. Yeah, and keep coming back, folks. We want that feedback. We want you interested. Check out our Patreon. We've got a starter pack up there for you to get going and get playing this game as soon as you can. And we're working diligently to get the book up and running. We just started on the production of the written word of this, the core rulebook, which is it's written. Paul has written all of it. It's ready to go. I just have to
referring to it endlessly.
Get it in. Yeah, I just have to. We've now gotten all the foundation for House of Eidolons and Token Box and the Patreon and support and all that fun stuff. We finally got all kind of settled and up and running, and now we go and work on the book and get that out to you as soon as you can. So we're hoping next 3 to 6 months is when we're going to get it out. I'm hoping sooner than later. I'm hoping everything just falls into place. So, but yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Thanks for coming out.